Hello guys, Rob here again from Kickback Garage. Now, full speed ahead in the garage here, but I'm going to do a quick video to show you people how I fit the SIP vape 12 volt electronic ignition system on my lambretta. This one. So if you're about to do something like that, grab yourself a cup of coffee. This could be an interesting watch. Come on. Right, here you go. I've just fit the vape system. This system in particular, oi, my camera. This system in particular is the variable timing one, but the fitting instructions and that are exactly the same, except for the timing bit. And I'll go slightly into detail on that later in the video. But for now, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks very pretty, and it's a shame I haven't got zoom on the GoPro, because that would be really cool. It could get you in there. I've got my fancy light going on here, so hopefully you should be able to see it. Anyway, I've fit the CDI in here and wired it all up, ready to go. So what I'll do, I'll take out the CDI and I'll show you where the wires go. One thing to be said about SIP is that they're German. So they absolutely love overcomplicating the diagrams here, and because they are really a Vespa shop, then all the wiring and stuff like that is color coordinated for Vespas, which makes it a bit head-scratchingly more difficult for us lambretta people. But the nice thing about this, I mean, they're just like all these examples with I just don't understand it, what they're talking about. This is the French bit. Anyway, but they've got these nice diagrams, and I actually use the AC without battery wiring diagram. I have got a simplified wiring loom, so as you see, I've got no connection box. I really do like not to have that, because I believe the less contacts you've got, or the less connections you've got, the less trouble you're going to get with it, because you're not going to get stuff going loose. Because these machines, as we all know, are very vibrating. So I followed this one, even though this is for the Vespa. It's simple enough to understand. And I'll show you how I even simplified it a bit more. And you get these fancy graphs and stuff like that, because the Germans, they love to talk about their technological prowess. Right, so I'll put this away. I'll take out the CDI there, and we'll have a look at the wiring. Okie dokie, boys and girls. Here you can see I've modified a Scooter Loopy John bracket for the Series 2. If you've got the Series 3, that's obviously on the side of the frame. But yeah, that was pretty straightforward, and that's individual for the scooters. If you plan on using the junction box, then SIP also throw this in as an afterthought, as they do with the old lambretta stuff. I mean, if you fit the SIP Speedo, you'll know what I'm talking about here. They overcomplicate it, and yeah, it just you just have to scratch your head a little bit, but get there in the end. But this is going to show you what these wires do. And if I start by saying I fit similar systems to the vape on British motorbikes, and the most important thing to understand here is that the coil itself really needs to have a very good earth. So what I've done here, I've used the MB earth loom, which it's got 3 ends. So I've got this on the coil, on the frame, on the back side of the coil bracket there. So I've got earth from the frame. I use the middle connection. I connect that to the coil itself here. And the third connection goes down to the engine. Now normally you'd have that just behind the flywheel cowl on the bracket that's got the rubber grommet where your starter wires come out of. But because I've got the cassette case, I've actually got a handy little screw there that I've screwed it to. So I know that my earth's correct. So that's really important. Get some good earth from both the frame and the engine, and it should be trouble free. Fingers crossed. Basically, the easiest way to find out what's what is to start at your starter. There are two sets of wires that come out of the starter. That's these two black ones. On this one, you have brown, which is earth. So connect that to your earth point, because you need two earths. You need earth for the coil, and you need earth for the lighting coils as well on the starter. So that's simple enough, and it's got this white and this red one coming out of it. And on the second one, which is here, you see you have a black one, which is also at earth. So that's earth number 2, which I've placed here on the coil. And I know it's a good earth because obviously that goes on the frame and on the engine at the same point. So if I should have problems with, say, the earth from the engine, I've always got the frame, and vice versa. So it's maybe slightly overkill, but it's a very good idea to do that way. And we have the blue one coming off here as well. On the regulator, you've got 2 yellow wires. So what you do is, it doesn't matter which one it is because they're not marked. So obviously, whichever one you put in as the input, the other one will work as an output. So you connect the blue wire from your starter plate to the coil on the yellow wire, which makes sense, doesn't it? And the wire that comes out of the regulator, the other yellow one, I have fitted this to my live wire, which is my red on my MB simplified wiring loom. Now if you're fitting a junction box, there's extra gubbins here so that you can plug in your lights and your brakes and stuff like that. And it also handily, in fact, it comes with an extra blue one, which is an extra one. So if you're charging, if you're firing up Super Speedo or stuff like that, or maybe a phone charger or something, you can punch that into that last one. But if you don't use it, you have to take it away. But like I said, I don't like using junction boxes. I really like to make it as simple as possible, because the less connections, the less likely you are to have problems. The other wire that comes out of the starter is obviously the one with the earth that we've talked about. And you've got a white and red one. Now this is like idiot proof, because they come with these like plastic crappy connectors that you can fit on there. I've crimped this and soldered this on before I put the plastic sheath over. And that's dead simple. It's simply red to red, white to white. So that gives the power to your spark plug. And if you're like me, have got the variable timing, then that'll fit there. And that's it. It's really that simple. So do yourself a favour, drop your junction box, plug it in like this, and you shouldn't really have any troubles at all with loose connections and stuff like that. But as you see here, I think this came with something like a fancy something or other connector. But to make it easy for myself, I soldered on a normal spade connector, so I could use the green wire from the blue and white here, which is your cutout wire, by the way. I soldered this on and crimped some, what's it called? And I crimped around it, and job done. Just make it easy on yourself. Because the nice thing is it's really easy to take apart if you ever need to take out your engine. Alright lads, so that's bit sorted. Right guys, as you see, I've got the old buzzwangle fixed on the flywheel here, and I have put a positive stop piston tool in the cylinder, down the plug hole. Now, you obviously don't need to use the buzzwangle. I just find this really, really simple to use. I've done a review of it. I love it. I've used it loads. So yeah, run out if you got money. Run out and buy one. Save you a lot of time. But obviously you can fit the old degree disc on the flywheel as well. and basically do the same job. It's a little bit more faffing around, but I'll go through that as well at the same time while I'm doing it. So I turn on the old buzz wangle, press twice on the 0 button to zero it out. I have incidentally moved the piston so that that is on the piston stop tool, so it can't go further to the left. And I simply wind it back. Ooh, fancy numbers. Right, let's see what we can do. Wind her back like this. There you go. And she stops there at 47.2. Right, so in the old calculator, 47 is what's going to 47 is about right. She's moving. That's because I've got my hand on the scooter. Yep, 47.3. Okay, we'll take that one. 47.3 divided by 2, and that gives us 23.6. Okay, you remember that? So what you have to do, if you've got a degree disc, you mark that point there. Now, I'm not a big fan of smacking my expensive engine with a hammer, so I just use the old grease marker. So I think what I'd do there, if I was using a degree disc, I would make an arrow in this vicinity here, I think, just on the flywheel, because obviously the flywheel doesn't have an arrow. So I'd mark that, and then I'd wind it back to position number 1, mark that, and then you can just measure with your degree disc what half of that is, and that'll give you top dead center. But because I've got the old buzz wangle meter, whatever it's called, I will remove the piston stop now, and there is absolutely no way in God's earth I can take it out here. Oh, maybe. Nope, I'm gonna have to move my arse again. So, I'm taking out my top dead center tool, and I don't have to do anything with the buzz wangle really. I just have to keep her moving until she goes to 23.6. Let's see how precise we can get that. 23.8. Because this is the sort of normal place we time lambrettas on, I think I'm going to try. Oh, it's like one of those precision things. I really my OCDs want to get me to put it on the right number. So let's see if I can get that. 23.6. Come on, baby, you can do it. Oh, look at that. So what I'll do, I'll mark, actually I think I'll make it easier on myself. I will mark the top of the fin here, like that. Gives me an arrow, and I'll mark this. So that is your top dead center. What I can do now, I can zero it out again, and because Vespers go backwards, then I can move the starter to 22 degrees. 22. 22 degrees. There's my firing point. If you're running the static vape, the sort of rule of thumb is if you are going up to say 8,000 revs, then 17 degrees before top dead center is good. And if you're going higher than that, you can actually back it up all the way down to 16 degrees, but that could mean that you get problems starting. So rule of thumb is about 17, 18, 17. So if, for example, on the TV that I'm going to do now, I'll probably set this to, I could probably get away with 18 degrees, but normally I set it to 17. I haven't had any problems with that. And for the guys that do have the variable timing, now let me just take away that, because I really don't need top dead center. The only thing I need is that mark there, the other mark there. Now for the guys with the variable timing, I'll show you how I came to the conclusion that I need 22 degrees. Just give me a second while I go get that stupid instruction booklet. Hi guys, here we are back on overhead cam. Right, so what we did now was just static timing. So it is absolutely imperative that you time it, strobe it with a strobe gun, and to check that the timing marks line up in the desired rev range. So normally, if you're on static timing, you set your scooter at fast tickover, which is 2000 revs, and it should be lying around 17 degrees. Now the problem with this system is, for us lambrettas at least, is they've got some very precise timing marks on the stator and on the rotor, not on the flywheel. And the reason for this is, I think, is because you can set those marks to the firing point on your Vespa engine, which we haven't got. We don't do that sort of stuff. And you can just set it pretty precisely on there. But because we've got a lambretta, to tell you the truth, I am not quite sure what those marks are. If the big mark on there on the center of the stator, I'm not sure if that's like 22 degrees, 24 degrees, 17 degrees. We've got no idea. And because of that, we have to set it up, you have to strobe it, you're going to have to take off your flywheel and move your stator. So if your firing mark, when you strobe the timing, if it's too far advanced, then you can retard the stator plate. And you have to fit it again, tighten it up, and then fire it up and strobe it again. Right, so, and that's what I was going to say about the static timing. On the variable timing, we've got some, if you go through there, we've got some very German technical stuff here. So, the SIP Sport, OEM SIP Sport, what am I looking for? This is all... I am looking at this upside down. So I'll mark on the chart where I want -7, which is 8000 revs. That's there. And basically I'm just going to count numbers backwards, because it's easier than trying to work out what the hell this all means. So we'll start at 17, and then we've got at 6, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then you've got this squirrely bit at the top, which I don't think will make any difference, because at 2000 revs, just slightly over 2000 revs, we're still at this point here. So really, I have to go back there now and reset my ignition point to 24 degrees if I want 17 degrees at 8000 revs. So if you've got a racy pipe and you're looking at 9000, then really you should be looking to set it at 25 degrees, I think, because it's got quite a steep curve there. And basically I reckon SIP should just say, like, lambretta owners, if you want 8,500 revs, if you want 17 degrees, then set it at 24, instead of having to mess around with the super duper fancy engineer diagrams that they love throwing at us. And that's about it, really. So if you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I've explained it, the wiring and how you time it good enough so that, like, normal people can understand how to do it, that's brilliant news. And if you fancy having a chat, come over to Facebook. I've got my own Facebook page there, and I do lots of sort of inside information there of what I'm going to be putting out in the next days, and pictures of the garage of us doing stuff, and me losing bolts and stuff like that. Anyway, it's all just a bit of fun, to tell you the truth. But even though it's a bit of fun, do the old like and subscribe, please. And I'll see you all in the next video. See you later, lads. Messing around with these cameras, batteries going flat.
Alle sprang I lag og ville komme under tak. Ingen av oss merket at du hadde fart ifra. Hvorfor valgte du å dra? Hvem I faen kunne se den komme? Da høsten tok over, sa vi ja, det bra til la oss sommer.
Hello people, Rob here again from Kickback Garage. Today's episode will be doing something like this. Maybe not. I'll count to three. 1, 2, 3.